Welcome to this week's Gig Diary. So this is another Gig Diary. These are the videos where I try and give you a flavour of what it's like to be a musician working in the UK. And the last 2 weeks I've been very, very busy. I've done about 9 or 10 gigs over the last 2 weeks. But this week, or the week just gone, I only had one gig. I thought I'd better report on that just to keep it real, because sometimes you have lots of gigs in a week, sometimes you have none or one. So this has been a quiet week, but it's given me a chance to do some other things, which has been nice. It's coming up in this week's video, some fashion advice. So I bought a pair of jeans, some Quad Cortex advice, some guitar solos, Eric Clapton gets caught speeding. Right, so let's cover the first gig, or no, the only gig, in fact, this week. Now, this was the same band I played in last week, and I covered in last week's Gig Diary. This was a different venue. It was a different sound. It wasn't such a good sound this week because we were indoors, whereas the previous gig was in a marquee, so there's no reflection, so you get a very nice sound. But this particular gig, same lineup, and I just wanted to show you here because I used two different guitars, the 335, and then I switched to the Strat. So this first solo, I started off on the 335, so there's a couple of solos from the song How Long. I think I showed you that last week as well. So have a quick look at this. This is How Long, and see if you like the tone of the 335. This is through my standard pedal board in my car Viceroy amp. Here we go. Another solo, this is from What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, and I'm showing this one because I used the front pickup and started off with a kind of more jazzy tone, so I thought that was interesting. Then I kicked in some drive and moved it onto the more trebly pickups. But anyway, check this one out. Now another solo, I tried to show the solo of this one last week. This was the one where I broke the string. This is September by Earth, Wind and Fire. But I swapped to the Strat here because you can't really play disco on a 335. I mean, you can, but it's not the same as a Strat, so I swapped over. So check this out, see what you think about the comparison with the different guitar sound. It's pretty much the same setting. I probably had to turn the amp up a tiny bit as the Strat is lower output, and I would have turned on the EP booster I use when I've got the Strat plugged in, which I have on all the time, but I don't have that on when I'm using the 335 because it drives the front end of the amp too much. So check this one out, see if you like the sound of the Strat compared to the 335. And then finally, a bluesy solo. I don't post that many bluesy solos because I don't get a chance to do them very often, but here we are, bit of blues. as I've got less gig stuff to cover this week, I thought I'd show you something else here. Now, two of my favourite brands did a collaboration. Now, one of them being Wrangler, and of course, you know, you play country music, you've got to like Wrangler, haven't you? And my other favourite brand being Fender, and they've done a collaboration, and look, can we see this? Wrangler Fender. So I bought a pair of jeans. Now I've got to show you this. Now this is so cool. It has a plectrum pocket here shaped like a plectrum, and it comes with a plectrum with Wrangler Fender written on it. Now I don't know if you can see this. That is so cool. And then just when I thought that was about as cool as it could get, I discovered the pockets on the inside are in pink paisley, just like my pink paisley Telecaster. My trousers match my guitar. I mean, I don't get excited about brands that often, but that's quite something. It's like it's made for me, and they fit like a glove. Don't go on my legs very well, but they fit on my hand perfectly. There we go. I'm going to keep the labels and everything. Anyway, back to the music. So as I only had one gig this week, I had time to cover a couple more things, and one of them is the new Quad Cortex CorOs update. So let me get all these bits together and I'll show you the way I'm using some of the new features. If you've been watching my gig diaries over the past couple of weeks, you've seen that I've been using my Quad Cortex, which is here, I'll show you in a sec, with the band where I use the band amp, which is a Fender Deluxe Hot Rod. So using the new 1.4.0, is it? CorOs, I've used a couple of new features which I've been waiting for, one of them. But I used one of the new Overdrives. I'll give you a little run through of what I've done. But this is the sound I've plugged into my Vibra King, which is a different sounding amp to the one I'm using with the band, but probably the closest I've got. So this is just the sound of it with everything turned off pretty much on the Quad Cortex. Apart from what I have on all the time when I'm using the Strat, I've got the model or the capture I did myself of the EP booster, and I've got the spring reverb that's built in on the Quad Cortex as well. So that's the basic sound. Let me get my GoPro and I'll show you what I'm doing on the Quad Cortex itself. Now, the feature that I was very excited for it to arrive was the ability to switch two different things with one foot switch. And what I wanted to use it for, I've got my expression pedal, and what I wanted to do was switch between using my expression pedal as a volume pedal and a wah-wah pedal, so I didn't have to have two expression pedals. So what I've done, I've got it in this multiple device. When it's set like that, it's a volume pedal. When I click that, it's a wah pedal, and you will notice the volume isn't going down at the same time as the wah, which it would do if you turn them both on at the same time. And the way you do this, which I discovered by accident, I was actually midway through writing, it would be nice if you could invert the on-off, when I accidentally realised that they'd already done it. So what you do is whatever state the foot switch is in, so I've got it switched there, meaning the volume pedal is a gain block, but it's set so the maximum is 50%, which is at 0 dB, and the minimum is minus whatever it is, off, up to 0 dB. So you assign it a foot switch, so in this case it's assigned to H, as you can see there, and then you set what state you want it in. So on this, when I've got the foot switch like that, the volume pedal is on and the wah is off. When I switch it, oh, not that. When I switch it, the opposite applies. Perfect, exactly what I wanted it to do. So the other things I've used on here, I think I covered this a couple of weeks ago. I forgot this lead, this stereo jack lead that connected the expression pedal, and I needed some wah-wah rhythm. So what I did, this isn't a new feature, but I'll show you this one anyway because I don't think I went over this in detail, is the envelope filter. Let me show you the settings I've got for that. So the envelope filter is that one. So I changed the sensitivity. I think that's pretty much all I did from the default, but it makes a great wah rhythm sound. Let me show you that. I'll put the GoPro down. The other changes I've made, I was using the models of my overdrive pedals, but I decided to use one of the new overdrives, which is this, the Nobles one. So let me, now this is what I'm struggling with, and I thought, as I've got time this week, so I've only had the one gig, I'm going to try and sort this out. So if you listen, this is the, I'm going to put the GoPro down and tell you, so I'm going to switch between, I've got the exotic, which is the, that exotic pedal, which I can't remember the name of, and then the Nobel overdrive. So I'm going to demonstrate those two. Let me put this down. Now it's a fat sound anyway because it's the humbucker, and that's the capture of my blues driver, which to me gives me a nice amount of treble. What I'm struggling with is like the Noble. It's a very fat middly sound, which is what it's designed to do, but it's not working for me actually. And this is the exotic. It's got more upper end, less middle. But again, I'm struggling a little bit. I think it might be to do with the amp getting enough treble. So this is what I've decided I'm going to do. I did try putting just the preamp stage of the Deluxe there. It didn't quite have the desired effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that block, and in its place I'm going to put an EQ block. And what I think this needs is a slight boost in treble, a bit of bass cut, and then maybe some kind of slight cut in lower mid. So let's have a look how that sounds. So that will have now assigned automatically the parametric to there. So let me put the GoPro down, show you what I'm going to do. So this is the exotic. Put the parametric in. That's with, without, with, and I think it'll make more difference. This is the Noble. That's quite a heavy, loads of bass. Put the parametric in. It's both of them in. Without the parametric. I'm not sure that Nobel's right. I'm going to have to fiddle around with some more different overdrives, I think. But anyway, that's what I've done with this, and I think this is the chorus I put in as well, because I thought this was handy for certain things. That's the Dream chorus. Anyway, there we are. That's the preset as it stands. Now, also this week, I just saw this in the paper when I was out shopping. Eric Clapton got done for speeding. Now this is pretty close to where I live. He doesn't live that far away from me. Now in a previous video I mentioned Corey Wong. He's often going on about how he plays the way he does because he lives near Prince. I mean, I'm paraphrasing that slightly, but he says because of the influence of where he lives, that's why he plays the way he does. Now I'm a little bit sceptical about that. This obviously always used to be the case when people could only hear the music from the people they live near, but in the world of global communication, the World Wide Web, I'm not quite sure that has such a bearing on the way we play. But Eric Clapton got done for speeding this week, and I got a speeding ticket this week, which I was very miffed about, as I stick very close to the speed limit these days. I put the cruise control on the speed limit and just stay there. But I was driving home from a gig, middle of the night. I was on a dual carriageway. It drops from 70 miles an hour down to 40. Now I lifted my foot off the accelerator instead of slamming the brake on as it was the middle of the night, and I hadn't slowed down quite enough by the time I went through the 40 mile an hour, and I got caught by a speed camera. Very annoying. I was only doing a few miles an hour above the 40 miles an hour. But anyway, maybe Corey Wong is right. Eric Clapton got done for speeding. So did I, in the same county. Maybe there is something in it. Anyway, so that was a fairly brief gig diary this week. I'm going to leave you with another solo. It was the second solo from How Long on my 335, so I'm going to leave you with that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit subscribe and hit like. Hit the bell, then you'll know when I'm bringing out a new video. I'm bringing out new videos every Friday, gig diaries and all kinds of other things. So hopefully I'll see you next time.